My take on the Nicolò Martinenghi 100-meter breaststroke, 58.26 seconds, 19 June 2022. So here I'm going to talk through the race and my perspective, so contextualizing it. This is an athletic performance contextualizations video, so I'll link to that playlist in the video description as well as the Lucky Wallaby Courier playlist. So this is part of trying to transition to video reporting of individual events or individual races, more specifically, and one person in that race. Can I take that performance and be like, this is what it meant to me and how it has impacted me, or how I understand the thing? So this is, I thought, a really good one. So I wrote and published about it at the time on Wikipedia. And it was an interesting race because of how much it kind of echoed a result I had in swimming. So it was the 100-meter breaststroke race at the 2022 FINA World Aquatics Championships in Budapest, Hungary. He placed first. He won the gold medal with a time of 58.26 seconds in the final on Sunday, 19 June 2022. It was a personal best time for him and an Italian national record. So it was really good. And it was an interesting race because I had been writing about him for a while, and I've been following him since before I moved back to Washington State, and his career and that kind of stuff. And so I say 4 plus years at the time that happened. I'm filming this on Tuesday, 10 October 2023 in the community of Venice, Arden, city of Shoreline, King County, Washington State, United States of America, Planet Earth, the original. So still follow his career. It was an interesting one because of just kind of press dynamics and how they, so I covered the result, now contextualization. The press tends to play favorites and be like, we like this breaststroker or this swimmer, and this person's the greatest of all time. Let's put everybody else down, antagonize them, bully them, just be very inappropriate in kind of what they publish. And so Nicolò, outside of Italy, wasn't a favorite by like the English-speaking press. And so, of course, the first thing the press does is, and the only thing the press did, the English-speaking press did, undermine. Right, so essentially what they said is, the only reason he won was because so-and-so wasn't here. Right, so it's very much about antagonizing this swimmer, trying to like really just, well, not trying, just straight up attacking, right? Like, you're not worth it, what you got, kind of thing. And those were the headlines, right? And so I was just like reading the news and I was like, well, if there's a swimmer out there, so I swam breaststroke for 12 years on my summer league team and 4 years in high school. And Nicolò was really good. Okay, no, we're not gonna. Well, and so like, there's like when somebody's younger, like when I was really good when I was young, kind of like Nicolò was really good when he was young, and then there's like the transition to being kind of like older and being competitive when one's older and being the best when one's older. And so there was kind of we actually had similar trajectories in the sense of being really good when we're young and then having kind of like a rough period. If I want to think of my like getting older period is like high school swimming, even though I was still on this other team, right, summer league team. Then his career and my career were actually very, at least as of the swimming of this race that I'm talking about, were very similar in trajectory. And so he won this one race at the World Championships level, and I ran one race at the high school level in breaststroke. I was the 100-yard breaststroke, and he was the 100-meter breaststroke. So that was kind of cool. But I got treated the exact same way when I won my race. Was, you only won because Lauren Williams wasn't here, you know, kind of thing. She was off on a graduate school visit, I think, like, or not graduate school visit, she was off on a NCAA Division I visit to like Ohio State University or something like that, and they were like, the only reason you won it, she wasn't here, kind of thing. And so it's just kind of like, well, that's the contextualization is, I saw this happen, and instead of being like, I think some people are like, they get this kind of feeling when they see press like that, like that's really inappropriate for the press to do. And I've had a bunch of conversations about that. It's like some people are like, I like swimming, maybe I would have pursued it, but the press is so horrible coverage. If you're not one of their favorites, why even do it? Right? And so then they don't. And so the press is kind of like, if there's a huge barrier to entry in a sport like swimming, it's mistreatment and inappropriate conduct, kind of immoral and unethical behavior by the English-speaking press, a lot of kind of thing, and like Australian, United States of American, England, stuff like that, kind of. And so it was just a really interesting thing, because like I saw it play out, and I was like, talk about, well, at least he gets the. And having gone through it, I was like, okay, so he's going through what I went through back in 2009. So, yeah. And, or something similar, right? I have some means to actually interpret his result in how he was treated by the press, which is kind of interesting. And it was kind of, while that sucks for Nicolò, right? That's kind of cool in the sense of, I actually can understand what this dynamic between this swimmer who's just done the best in Italian history, in the history of Italy, right? His personal best, so the best he's ever done in his life, best in the world at the World Championships, and they're like, the press screams, you're nothing compared to this other swimmer. And I'm like, I can do that. And so, like, he and I, like, if there's a male breaststroker who's like trajectory and treatment by the press in response to winning actually matches mine, his is like a perfect fit. And I'm not out there, winning gold medal, and neither is Nicolò. Is kind of, I am impressed by him as a swimmer in terms of he has situational awareness, which is very uncommon and tends to not exist with the people who just go gold medal, or world record. They're not very situationally aware. And they don't really care about the treatment of others, whereas Nicolò might, or does. And so there was it was an interesting race. I had means to understand it and contextualize it and be like, this person might be going through a bit of a hard time. And make sure to make it about, when I was writing and publishing about him, like, make sure to make it about the team, right? He and one of his fellow Italians, this was the one where, like, he and Simone Sarasuolo, who was someone I actually made the Wikipedia article for on English Wikipedia, they did a silver bronze finish in the 50-meter breaststroke, right? Which was Italian history. They hadn't had two Italians on the podium before, or something like that, right? Like, this was groundbreaking for, like, Italy. And I'm like, as someone who's Roman, if you go back far enough in the family tree, I'm like, my family, kind of thing, versus that's not necessarily true with the Americans, right? The downside of a stew of sorts that America is sometimes I really just care about my family, kind of thing. So yeah, I was going to go off on, I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot. It was just kind of I had a means for interpreting this one. It's nice that he had another breaststroker that was really good. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, the American press hates this guy, the English press hates this guy, and this Australian press hates this guy. Kind of thing. Except for me, but I guess, am I Norwegian born? So then maybe the Norwegians like him, like me. Yeah. So that's a little bit about him, his race, but then also the contextualization of how would I phrase it? How the contextualization is a bit of comparing it or contextualizing, like showing me understanding or realizing, here we go, that the same dynamics that play out in high school swimming play out on the world level, right? There is no change. It's not, in that sense, there is no change. It's not a higher level of competition. The press is just as petty, just as vindictive, vile, antagonistic, as in high school, right? So in that sense, there's also a little bit of, wow, imagine if there were adults writing those articles, like mentally, right? They could be an adult by age, but that doesn't mean they have the mental capacity of an adult, the people who wrote the articles. And as I experienced it as a teenager, well, yeah, they have some stagnated mental growth, whether they chose it or not, kind of thing. Yeah. So that's a bit about that race. I enjoyed it. I enjoy watching him swim. He's a beautiful man. Yeah, he's a beautiful rana, which is in Italian. It's rana is frog. That was an Italian word of the day one time, and they call it the frog stroke because you know, going like this, like a frog, kind of, in like with the feet and stuff. So it's cool. I love the Italian language. You know, there's just so much character there that's not present with like the English press, if nothing else. So there's another athletic performance contextualization video.